We're here in Winchester today at the beginning of a day-long outing to explore the work of an escaped slave named Isaac Johnson. And we're with 30 people, and we're going to today to start in Winchester, to go to Morrisburg, to cross the river, and to go to Waddington eventually. Isaac Johnson's father was a white man, his mother was an African American, and his early life was in a family that was fairly normal in some ways. And then at age 7, his father sold the entire family into slavery, and his world was turned upside down because when that happened, he was treated much more like a slave as opposed to a family member. He eventually escapes from slavery, and by crossing and joining up with the Union Army, which was nearby, he joins the Union Army. He fights in the remainder of the Civil War. He gets wounded, and he eventually, after the end of the war, makes his way north through Detroit up into the St. Lawrence River. And here he begins a life, first as a stonemason, a stone quarrier, and eventually as a contractor and a builder. And so you get this incredibly wonderful arc from being an enslaved person to being a person highly respected in all of the communities that he lived in and worked in.
I grew up in a small town in the centermost part of Kentucky called Lebanon, Marion County, Kentucky, which is 40 miles from Elizabethtown, where he was born. The remarkable aspect of his evolution, really, to have been born into a mixed race home and to have been sold at auction along with his mother and his siblings by his biological father. I mean, how could one person do that, particularly a blood relative? But anyway.
To read about what somebody suffered through slavery and then managed to escape and made it to the point of being able to establish himself as an entrepreneur and a mason here and create these buildings, it's a pretty extraordinary story.